And we're back. Now, obviously, Arsenal won the North London derby, but that is indirectly the topic of this video, people. Again, you lot know me. I like to have a laugh and a joke. I take the banter when it comes to my way. I defo fling shots and things like that. And that's what football's about. And on this platform, we do everything. We can have a laugh and a joke. We can speak about clubs that have nothing to do with us. We can be honest and balanced in our thoughts and process. And above everything, I say this is a platform for the real football fans. And I know that's a cliche, but what I specifically mean by that is, you know, I support Arsenal. You support whatever club you support listening to this, but you're a fan of the game way before, or maybe why you fell in love with football. You love your club, tribalism, all of that, but you love the game for what it's worth. And for instance, I love Arsenal, follow Arsenal every day until the big man upstairs calls me. But I watch football. I love football. We all love this sport. It's such a simple sport, but it brings us together. And there's so many things football can teach society, although football mirrors society. But I'm going off topic. You notice I got a cap on for no reason because the trim's fresh. But just to implore you lot visually, yeah. If you pretend this is an Arsenal cap or whatever club you support, that's a cap, yeah. Take it off. Take it off for a second and let's have a balanced discussion, people. Let's have a serious discussion. Now, as an Arsenal fan, yeah, we all know the North London derby. There's many a talking points for Spurs individually, for Arsenal Football Club individually, what 3 points means for us, what it don't mean for them, Eze banter, all of that kind of stuff, people, all those kind of things. If there's one thing I'm passionate about, it's refereeing. I've hated referees since Sunday League. In Sunday League, yeah, you're told, don't give the refs a decision to make. You're told, don't leave it to the refs a decision to make. You're told to expect mistakes, people. And I think for every football fan, I can't speak for around the world, but I'm going to say around the world and with the Premier League, you have to expect things to go against you. And you have to expect, when decisions go for you, great. When they go against you, you're mad. But that's where I'm at. Some Arsenal fans can be crybabies. Although I think there's gaslighting. Arsenal players are the only players that play act and do the dark arts thing, even though I've seen Harry Kane and Son do it. I see Saka do it. I've seen Perez and Henry do it. I've seen Mane do it. I've seen Salah do it. I've seen, play acting, waiting for contact in the box, getting away with two yellow card defenses like Bernardo Silva and Foden. But let's stop all this. The players are vile and things. This is a dirty game. So they have to live clean being get points and get decisions. They have to do it. Let's be brutally honest. The amount of money that is in the Premier League, we got the best of the best, allegedly, right? Best players, best managers, best coaching staff, best diet dons, best everything, crazy TV rights, all of those kind of things. So if you park off the best managers, the best players, the best this, the best that, why are the refs mediocre? Is it because of their training? Is it because you ask questions about a ref and there's no sanctions, even though Rodri hasn't been? Is it because of that? Or is it by design? Now, maybe I'm thinking everything's a conspiracy, but with all the money and the best of the best, mediocre, inconsistent refereeing decisions can be eradicated and fixed very quickly. They don't want to. It gets people like myself making videos, people like you watching it, Sky Sports and all of them will probably focus on that North London derby. Gabriel Magalhaes, is it a pen? Is it not for a week? Typically, Arsenal are on the opposite end. I do think there is that, and as an Arsenal fan, I'll be real. I've come to accept it. When decisions don't go our way, what can I say? I can be vexed. I can be mad. We're going to go through several. There's several. People are not going to act like such. Let's not be stupid. Decisions have gone our favor. Marino could have been sent off this season. Gabriel Magalhaes could have had 2 yellow cards. A few years ago, Odegaard with the handball stuff. Whether it's players waiting for contact, theatrics, pens being given or not given, inconsistencies. Admittedly, Jeremy Doku, I'm sure in McAllister's case, Newcastle, Gyökeres not being given a penalty versus how I saw Haaland at Anfield. Actually, Gabriel Magalhaes going down, which I think he needed to be stronger in the build-up to the goal that we conceded against Newcastle. That being given and it not being given in the North London derby. So that shows you there's inconsistencies. They want that. How many times, whether it's handball, whether it's waiting for contact, whether it's a foul, whether it's second yellows, how many times you see the exact same incidences? Like you could have 2 games today for argument's sake. 2 of the exact same things have happened with 2 different outcomes. Now, you lot tell me if that isn't by design and if that isn't on purpose. So, unfortunately, we have to live with it. Again, I do think there's an element of gaslighting Arsenal fans. I do think there's an element of the refereeing decision taking stuff away because, yes, you could argue Spurs make it 2-2. It's a different kind of game. We still put them in a spliff and 1-4-1, right? Their goals, one disallowed and one that they scored, obviously, Rice, came from a mistake. Spurs were a lot better than obviously people would have made out. But let's not make out it was some knife edge. They were really on it and stuff. We deserved to win that game. We was a class above them, especially in the second half. And when it's my football club, you lot can factually check this because you see me make what go on watch alongs. You see me on these platforms. I say it as much as them. Like if it happens in the 82nd minute, for example, in the 82nd minute, a decision goes against Arsenal and we lose the game, of course, because of a poor decision by the ref. I don't want to hear sorries by the referee, but you hear me saying I can be vexed about that, but I'd rather focus on controlling the controllables. If that happens in the 82nd minute, then what have we done in the other duration of the game to change the values of that? Do you get where I'm going, people? So I'm really not gonna have it. We see players buy fouls all the time, and I don't criticize it. It's a necessary evil. Honesty is not the best policy in the Premier League. And if I'm Gabriel Magalhaes, which we're gonna go over, I've seen you genuinely pushed and done dirty several times against Newcastle. So I don't blame you for doing that. The game is the game. If it goes against us, it is what it is. But don't try and I don't really care about the same old Arsenal always cheating. You can make it about the refs if you want. You can do whatever. Arsenal people can do whatever they're gonna do in it. The bigger discussion, and please stay on task. Whatever you think about my club, like, comment, and subscribe. Refereeing sport, and you lot know I've always maintained these things. Just 2 months ago, people, I went on TalkSport, and the way they've titled the video, if it will share, the way they've titled the video is a bit mad. I do think Arsenal are judged a bit differently, as I'm sure every fan base will say the such. We were speaking about that, but I was broadly talking about the standard of refereeing, and that was kind of shut down by the panel. Big up Marcus, Sam, and obviously Abby. Abby told me there was, we've got to get on with it, and referees make certain decisions and they're trying and things like that. It's all fun and games until it costs your club, innit? Like, this is what I'm saying for football fans. So I was frontline about that. And then now it feels like since I've gone on that platform in things to come, now people want to hear what I'm saying. Now people want to see it, people. And you can't have the rough with the smooth, Again, Gabriel, big unit. Obviously, for argument's sake, just because he's big, doesn't mean he can't go down. You could argue Colin Moani is premeditated. Is it soft? Yes. Do I want to see that in the game? No, unless it benefits. Corruption is only bad if we benefit. But let's not act up. And I think this is somewhat, it didn't work for Romero in the same way it didn't work for Gabriel Magalhaes away from home. But then even that, if you want to do the tribal thing, Spurs fans can't chat shit to me because you wanted you don't think it's a foul on Gabriel Magalhaes, but when you played Liverpool, you thought Hugo Ekitike was one. So let's cut the crap. And as I said, take off your hat. If it goes for you, great. If it doesn't go for you, you're fuming. The wider discussion is the level of refereeing, the standard of refereeing in this country is absolutely appalling and abysmal. And that is it. And it's not going to go anywhere. It's not. It's only going to get worse. Think about it logically, yeah? Take my line of work, content creation. If you lot agree with me, great. If you don't agree with me, you're going to let me know. If I was a shit content creator, which some of the comments say, you're not going to be subscribed, we're not going to have this platform. You lot in your 9 to 5s, whether you're a construction worker, doctor, office-based job, if you lot, make poor decisions, you're going to get the sack. If managers make decisions, you're going to get the sack. Fans even get criticized. As an Arsenal fan, we're not making atmosphere. Fans, metaphorically, are going to get the sack. Managers are going to get the sack. All the extended wider members of coaching staff are going to get the sack. Players play poor. You're going to get sold or not played. Refereeing, it's like you could fail a North. I'm exaggerating, but you could have dodgy decisions in Spurs versus Liverpool or Arsenal versus Spurs, and you'll be rewarded with an FA Cup referee in the FA Cup final. Or obviously it's not the same, but referee in El Clasico. Referees are a very protected group. You can't criticize them. It's a small conglomerate of people. It's here to stay, and it's going to happen. It's going to be inconsistent. So I say this for all players. Had the shoe been on the other foot and Spurs benefited, of course I'd be crying, but it is what it is. This is the belly of the game. You have to get your hands dirty if you want to live clean. Every player waits for contact. Every player, waits for contact, leaves their leg dangling, tries to win fouls, beats the ball and, does a bit of the dark arts. That's necessary, people, and when these things used to go against Arsenal historically, we're not street smart, we're naive and all of these kind of things. I remember even the delays around the throws. I remember when Chelsea used to do it under Jose and under Conte, and actually Bernardo Silva in City, because I remember Jamie Carragher doing a whole highlight of time wasting and taking the sting out of games in which Newcastle were praised. And so when Arsenal do it, there's issues. My problem is the game is the game. It's not going to get eradicated. If it works for you, great. If it don't work for you, all you can do is control the controllables and have that Sunday league thinking. Now, I know it's the Premier League, but as I said, take your fan caps off. And if you're a genuine football fan, yeah, You get where I'm going with this. And there was no outrage for Phil Foden, where he should have been sent off here for a second yellow, I believe, and Bernardo Silva's had one. But not the game is the game. Remember when Cedric's penalty in the North London derby? And I've seen Son and Kane get plenty of ones, but do that. That's what you should do. For me, don't give the referee a decision to make. Easier said than done, really and truly. And then even this, remember when the ball's gone out, there's been a foul and it was offside, and we were told to shut up, and we're doing the thingy. You know, you lot can do your same old Arsenal always cheating, and it makes me feel amazing when we're winning, yeah. But there's also side note, yeah. I've seen Gabriel Magalhaes lip bust and Saka's leg kicked off. A man are saying same old Arsenal always cheating like against Leeds, but nonetheless, people, it is what it is. Just go back to last year. We had fewer VAR overturns than any other team in the Premier League, and I'm sure that would have changed. Every team has got decisions that's benefited for them, and every team's been absolutely done dirty in these kind of things, if I'm honest with you. Even Martinelli, the 2 yellows, disallowed that goal at Man United. You know, there's several decisions. Miles Lewis-Skelly, and again, I'm not saying referees can't make mistakes. They're human. They can make mistakes, but they're making too many mistakes where we're seeing a pattern. So now it's becoming a choice either of these referees or in general. You know, there is an element of conscious and unconscious bias. There could be 2 players, one who I think is a diver, one who I think is an honest man. The honest man might have actually dived. The diver might have actually, the diver actually might have won a legit penalty. But because of my unconscious bias as a referee, I'm going to ask questions. And one thing I always push back on, VAR is not the issue. There's not a problem with VAR. VAR is a computer. It is a computer. It's how it's being implemented and the consistencies around drawing lines and fouls and when we actually go and check it and when we don't actually go and check it. These are the wider things. So what I'm not going to have is being gaslit. And even if I'm Gabriel Magalhaes, I've seen this against Newcastle. Now, again, what I would say for Magalhaes, you got away with it against Spurs. You didn't against Newcastle. It's a luck of the dice. Can we be a bit more street smart? If it works, it works. But for argument's sake, if I'm Gabriel Magalhaes, where, again, he was even fortunate to not maybe nothing happen in the game where he's put, allegedly, I never saw it, hands on Walkmaid. But you go back, if you're seeing, your fellow countryman Joe Linton actually push you up on the floor and it's not given, logically speaking, are we not gonna, be a bit wiser from that? You get where I'm going? Look at this. Look at this. So no one's going to gaslight me and pretend. And you know what? When I think of refereeing decisions, Kovacic a few years ago, and we've seen this time after time after time after time after time again. A lot of people don't want the right decisions. They either want the right decisions when it's against my football club or against a club they hate, or when they want to be poetic. Like, one thing I'll push back on is, when Szoboszlai's been sent off, do I think he needed to? As a football fan, no. But I can't be here criticizing the refs. And when they're applying the law of the land, ask questions. Like, have a problem with the law, have a problem with the ref. Don't hate the player, hate their game, if I'm completely honest with you. Like, it is what it is. And a lot of Spurs fans don't even care. It's just the fact that you didn't benefit from it. But you only scored from 2 of our mistakes. You didn't really do anything else. How many penalties have you seen given? And this one wasn't given. My whole point is, of this video, there's several inconsistencies in the Premier League. Or we should have had a handball here. Some might even say Nottingham Forest. So what I'm not going to do is be gaslit, especially when they're not even drawing lines. So the bigger problem is the inconsistencies, because that Gabriel Magalhaes one, I guarantee you, in the Premier League at some point this week or next week, the same thing is going to happen, either in an Arsenal game or somewhere else. The same thing is going to happen with maybe the same outcome, but it's more than likely going to be a whole different thing. And then you're going to have, ex-referees, PGMOL chairmen come out and talk nonsense. So all I would say, people, is just take your tribal hat off for a second, man.